Hello everybody, my name's Novi and welcome back to the channel. It's been a pretty wild few days for AEW fans after what was probably the most controversial show in the program's entire history. The show is currently sitting at a 5.0 rating on Cage Match, which is probably the most accurate number it could be given all the mixed reactions it's gotten. For me personally, I enjoyed it while I was watching it, but that doesn't mean that I didn't notice or afterwards kind of realize all the glaring issues with the show as a whole. And that's really what this video is going to be about. It's just going to be a passionate AEW fan spitting about what I love. So if you're into that kind of thing, keep watching. Let's just get into it. Let's say I do point out the issues with the product, which I did on Twitter. That just gets me called a WWE fan whose brain has been rotted, even though I don't watch the weekly TV and I'm just criticizing my favorite wrestling company. It's something that AEW fans used to make fun of Fed fans for doing, just rushing to defend any sort of criticism that their company has gotten, which by the way is why those companies stay bad. You want to have constructive criticism be posted everywhere. You want people to care that much. Specifically for the criticism of AEW too, it seems like whenever somebody chooses to say something negative about the company, they're just called a doom poster and that they want the company to fail and enjoy our wrestling, buddy. That kind of thing is just so disingenuous, and it's kind of like when people post Serpentico versus Kip Sabian match graphics when people say they want the old AEW back, when they know that that's not what you meant. Like, it's just completely unserious. And it makes people that truly care about the product not want to post anything because they're just going to get shit all over on Twitter even though they honestly don't deserve it. And when people do say they miss the old AEW, it's not stupid little matches that no one cares about. Like, I remember the first Dynamite I ever watched was Dustin Rhodes versus Nick Camarado. Like, that's crazy. What we usually mean, or what we always mean, is the storytelling, the multi-year ascension of Hangman Page into the main event scene. That's what's missing from the product right now. And for some reason, TK has just decided to completely move away from that sort of thing and instead focus more on comedy, if you can even call it that. I mean, really, who finds the Roddy Strong vignettes funny anymore? Like, okay, I enjoyed when his bed squeaked to shit when he was rising up and that sort of thing, but it's been going on for months after the fact, and it was like, it had its moments, but it's just gone off the rails. You have someone like Timeless Toni Storm, who was an instantly funny character just because they weren't trying too hard, and now they're doing silent films every week, and it just wears everyone down. Potentially the best character they've had in the women's division since Britt Baker in 2020, 2021, and they jumped the shark with it and ruined it within a matter of weeks. But the comedy booking isn't even the worst part, even though I personally am not really a fan of it. Like, okay, I laugh sometimes, but overall, I don't want that in my wrestling product. I'd much rather it go back to what it was before. But I think the perfect example of how much we've changed and how much we've went astray from what AEW always was the Don Callis Family feud. The early days of this program were so promising and just so exciting. I mean, we had the Omega Moxley cage match. Don was coming out to drown out boos where you just couldn't hear a word he was saying, and it was natural. Takeshita became his new project. Like, it was all shaping up to really, like, be the feud of the year. Then suddenly, the feud just wouldn't be on TV for weeks at a time. It would come back to less heat and a worse build, with a segment worse than anything they've done before, and this thing started to become a mess. Eventually, we did get to the Kenny Takeshita match, which Takeshita actually won, believe it or not, and then nothing came of it. You probably wouldn't even think he beat the longest reigning world champion up until recently, if you didn't already know, because he's taken a backseat in what should have been his own feud. The AEW that I know, the AEW that I fell in love with really, which might sound corny, but I so enjoyed watching this product, was known for building and establishing people through these kinds of feuds, and somehow they've managed to just completely ignore that with someone as good as Takeshita. The whole story is built around Don Callis now, not any of his family members, and it's a perfect example of what AEW's booking has become. Maybe even what it's becoming too, with the addition of Big Show to the big payoff 4v4 street fight, a guy who looked like the Leaning Tower of Pisa when he came out. Credit to Manny the Hooper for that one. The big guy's knees and hips are begging for mercy at this point, and now he's being thrown into a street fight randomly because, what, he's Jericho's friend? I think a more timely example of what the booking has become, I think it's time we talk about the most recent news. The news that hit AEW faithful like an AC 130 above. Ric Flair has signed a multi-year deal with AEW. And don't forget his Woo energy drink being the exclusive energy drink of the promotion now. How cool is that? Seriously though, this move is mind-numbingly out of touch and completely unjustifiable. Some people are saying that it's for Sting, and sure, I can accept a few appearances for the icon, but a multi-year deal? He legitimately offers nothing to the show, and he's going to take away TV time that countless other people on the roster deserve far more than he does. And for what? Like, who is this for exactly? It's not even just that, because that's product related. I think it's more so like how it makes your fan base feel, specifically how it makes the women watching your product feel. I've seen so many tweets from women in the IWC saying how much this hurts them, specifically from Lyric Wrestling, Peach for Peeps, Anna DeMarco, and specifically Charlie from Wrestle Purists, who has the tweet that I want to focus on right now. She says, "Wrestling companies don't owe us anything other than a safe environment to consume the product. When you go and hire someone that has admitted to things he was accused of and has enough allegations to fill a TV show, you send such a negative message to so much of your audience." And she's right. I'm just a man. I can't say I know exactly how it feels, but I can at least empathize with women who don't want sex pests on their wrestling TV show. I don't think that's too much to ask. It's even crazier when you remember TK's gotcha post about Vince McMahon not but a few weeks ago, where he dragged him for his past and took the moral high ground on the situation, and now he's signing a different old man who's done the same kind of awful shit, except this one thinks he can still go with a pacemaker strapped to his chest. It's the kind of hypocrisy you cannot write. It's the kind where it just has to naturally happen because it's just so out of this world stupid. AEW used to be a company that would reject this kind of thing too. They would try to operate as a safe space for all kinds of wrestling fans, and a move like this does nothing but shit all over that ideology. An ideology that worked to make you the alternative in wrestling, which honestly is the main point of this video. AEW is no longer the alternative, and I don't think it has been for quite some time. What made people fall in love with this company was the stories, the characters that had a million layers, the incredible ring work, and now, while you still maybe get glimpses of that, there's so much just fed shit that you're never gonna be the alternative doing stuff like that. Before WrestleDream, Tony Khan was going on and on about how that would be a start of a new era in AEW, and looking back on it, it's time to just pull a Loki and head back in time and just not do that. This new era is not what I wanted. It's not what I was looking for, and it was like this before that. But I feel like it's gotten just so much worse as we've delved into this new era. I just don't get it. It wasn't instant by any means, but over the course of the last year and a half, AEW just destroyed and just kind of shit all over all the good faith people had in them, and it's nobody's fault except for TK's. He's allowed this to happen by allowing people like Jimmy Jacobs, Jeff Jarrett, and Pat Buck in his ear who have infested this company with just the sports entertainment garbage that just sucks. Nothing is creative anymore. Nothing is inspired anymore. The one fresh thing that I can remember specifically in my mind is when Swerve went after Hangman because he just wanted his spot in the company. He wanted to be the top guy, and that made that feud become instantly attention grabbing and probably one of the most interesting feuds of the entire year. That kind of story isn't complex by any means, but it just doesn't have to be when the two people working together are so good, and it's just something fresh. It's something new compared to all those open challenges that we were getting. I mean, at one point, we were getting 4 people defending belts through open challenges at a time. It was just too much. And look, I know that I've been super negative this video, and I do want to say this. I don't hate AEW, and I don't hate everything they've been doing, and I'm still going to watch the product. But I just know that it can be better, and that's why I'm so frustrated. I want that focused and inspired TV we got to see a while back. That run was just so iconic, and it's why I started watching wrestling. It's why I started delving deeper into everything pro wrestling. It's why this channel even exists. I've seen it be better, and so I expect it to be better. And I don't think that anyone doing the same on Twitter is wrong for that. And I think people need to just stop trying to defend this kind of thing. More power to you if you enjoy this kind of product. If this is for you, that's cool by any means. But I think for the majority of AEW fans, this kind of thing isn't what they were looking for. It's not what they signed up for when they started following this company 4 years ago. I just hope that soon we can get back to it. We can start becoming creative again. We could start putting people together and giving them interesting things to do on the weekly TV, building to just those awesome pay-per-views. They're always awesome. And I feel like if there was just more inspired weekly TV, we would be set up for success. But for now, that's not what it is. And we're just going to have to wait and see and hope it gets better. That's going to do it for today's video, everybody. If you disagree or agree with anything that I've said in this video, please comment down below because I want to get all the perspectives I can. I know this video is a little bit ranty, but if you've seen me on Twitter, if you've seen some of the uploads on this channel, you know that I love this company. It's my favorite brand of pro wrestling out there, and I just want it to be better. So, I hope you guys can relate in some way. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you enjoy talking graps, and yeah, much love to you all. Thank you all for watching. Peace.